Hello, everybody. It's Hugh from Canada. Hope you enjoyed the last Zoom call that featured as an episode on Offseason Stories with pullstart.tv. We actually went ahead and did a second one, this time with a special guest, Markus Michelberger of SCSM2 and Audi Formula E. Some really good time, lots of good questions posed by the group, some great discussion around what's happening at SCSM2, their new summer series, even some tips using their new differential. It's been an incredible piece of technology about to be patented. And then we talked about just the various things that need to be improved to keep our hobby growing. And then lastly but not least, it was really interesting to have each of the attendees talk about their first large-scale cars and how they got into this scale of this incredible hobby and sport. So hope you enjoy this episode on Pullstart TV. Don't forget to subscribe and like on YouTube as well. Okay? So enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. So maybe we can start off with Luis. Maybe you can introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and what are you up to these days?
Absolutely. So I'm Luis Principillo. I'm originally from Venezuela, but I live in Miami, USA. As you can see, I drive with Genius, with Senna since 2001. I think I used to know Hugh. We used to race back in LA when they had the circuit on a parking lot. I vividly remember him and I fighting with our F1s. And at the end of the straightaway, we touch our cars flipped up. And everybody's like, oh, they were concerned about our cars. And him and I were just laughing.
We're laughing like kids. It was like a fun version of Ayrton Senna and Prost in Suzuka. Maybe we weren't as fast as them, but in our world, we were pretending we're Prost and Senna.
I will never forget the moment. So, yeah, I mean, I've known Hugh for such a long time. And that was, I think, 2001 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like mid-2000s, yeah.
And so at the time, I used to live in Maryland, which is closer to Washington, D.C. And we had a track. It went down, and my only chance to drive was to travel to California. So it was limited. Now I'm relocated down in Florida, Miami. And we used to have a track until a few months back. The owner had a dispute with the owner of the NASCAR track, and they are going to relocate the track. So that's why we had to cancel our 2020 Copa America, which I guess it didn't matter anyway because of the coronavirus. So I'm looking forward to maybe next year, because this year it's almost dead due to the coronaviruses and many other things. But I went to the Worlds. I saw Laszlo there. That's where I got my glasses. And that was my first ever Worlds event, and boy, I had a blast. It was a good experience.
Nice. Well, glad you could make it, man. Hey, Miguel, I know last call we didn't see your beautiful face, and we're wondering what you look like. So now we get to see you, and I say you look like probably around a 2018, 2019 Louis Figo.
Okay, it's better than the other name that you call
Shrek.
Me. Shrek.
Yeah.
Yes, Shrek. It's a little bit better.
Yeah, nice. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Just say hello to everybody.
Hello, my name is Miguel. I'm from Portugal, near Lisbon, a town named Setúbal.
Nice.
And I'm a kind of a mechanic of the André.
Oh, nice. Nice. Glad you could make it.
And cousin.
Yeah. He's the brain.
All right.
And cousin and the brains of the operation, right?
Kind of.
Nice. Glad you could make it. Hey, Guido. Hey, I know many of us know you, but many of us don't. But maybe if you want to do an introduction, because I guess other people will be watching. I know you're an international celebrity, and electric racing pioneer. But maybe you could just introduce yourself again.
Once again, hello. Good evening, guys. My name is Guido Mamat. I'm living in Germany, in the near from Heidelberg. Hello, Markus.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm driving the electrical car, Formula and touring car this year, or I want to drive the touring car this year, but probably we will see if we can drive this year. And so on. I'm waiting for the races and hope that we can drive this year once again and to see you live at the track.
Mhm. Yes, good. Yes. Hey, Laszlo, I'm gonna leave you for last, Marcus. Hey, Laszlo, I'm not gonna introduce you. Everybody knows who you are. You're like you're the guy with the big pipe.
Oh, there's one, Texas 5.
Yes,
Oh, no,
you can
sorry.
say that as well.
Yeah, you got the big pipe and you make big pipes. So
Funny guy.
hey, Andre. Hey, you want to introduce yourself? I know you're the talent behind the combination of you and Miguel, but maybe you want to just.
Hi, my name is Andre. I'm from Portugal, and I make Portuguese series with TC and F1.
Nice.
And that's all. I live in a town near Lisbon too, but the name is Palmela. It's a small town, and that's all. And Miguel is my cousin and my mechanic, and the two met one brain.
Oh, really? One big brain.
Yes.
Nice. And it looks like your wife has forced you into doing this call from the laundry room.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't deny it.
That's
Yeah.
a job list. That's his
I'm
job
sorry.
list.
Hey, listen. My heart goes out to you.
No problem. The office here have lots of functions.
Oh, okay. Multifunctional. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I'm glad you can make it back. Hey, Juan, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, Hugh. Just finally was able to make it to this one.
Yeah, you made it just in time for the introduction, so you got to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I know Hugh, and I know quite a few of you. I'm Juan Blaylock, the originator of the Texas 5 group that contains Markel and Sam. Yes, Texas 5. We're the guys that actually got the spec fifth scale going with FG as a kind of entry point into getting into fifth scale racing. So when you think spec fifth scale, you want to think Texas 5.
Yes.
And for many of you guys that didn't know, if you don't know who Juan is, back in the 1980s, he was one of Michael Jackson's backup dancers when they, on the Bad tour. So if you ever go, you go look at and you see like Michael Jackson live from Prague, and you see this guy on the side doing this. That was Juan. Hey, Kato, what's going? I'm sorry, Kato.
I like Kato. I met him in Portugal. Every time I go next to him, I say Kato.
Kato, you got to practice.
Remember me, Kato? Kato.
Oh my
I always
God,
want to say Kato.
You are on the,
nice.
you are on the wrong liquid.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the same diet as Luis.
Yes. Water.
Hey,
Water.
Kato, man, introduce yourself. I know everybody knows you too. You're world famous as well, but it doesn't hurt.
No, I'm not. Kato from Hetland from Norway. Yeah, I've been around this hobby for a few years. First, I drove myself the Formula, and then my kid took over with the touring cars. So now I just
Marius.
become a mechanic.
Future world champion. I remember
he's too lazy for that.
Oh, that's okay. He'll get like a second wind. But I remember the first time I met Marius in Fiorano, and he was following Marcus Feldman around like a little puppy dog. And I just remember him always drinking Coca-Cola because Marcus drank Coca-Cola. Now he's like a grown man now. That's pretty cool.
I was 19 just a few days ago.
Yeah. Wow, time flies, man. Time flies. I think Sebastian is still on the phone. Sure. I'll call him out once, but he warned me that he had Sebastian, are you there? He's probably still on the call. So All right, cool. We'll add him in later. Last but not least, Markus, man, welcome to the call. Welcome to the Zoom call. So glad you can make it. I know you're not a social media guy, but I'm glad you could join us and share, man. So yeah, tell a little. What before you? Oh, actually, no, I'll do it after. But why don't you introduce yourself first?
Well, I'm Markus Michelberger. Hi guys. Most of you guys I know already. Some just from the name, but so nice to see your face. So yeah, I'm actually part of STS M2 engineering, and Sasha is the other guy, and we have. I mean, it's not us only; it's the whole team behind us. And actually, this I do, let's say, in my free time.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know, everybody knows Markus from Formula E and knows him from large scale, but also too in his past life, if you guys can see this, he was also a fitness model and a TV star. Because Markus, well, the problem with when they had Magnum PI back in the 80s,
that's true.
Like Germany, the German broadcaster couldn't secure the rights to bring Magnum PI over to Germany. So instead of like paying the big fees to CBS, the American broadcaster, they just created their own one with Markus as the lead. And I think it was called Und Magnum PI. Yeah, man, you're in great shape, man. You're looking good, buddy. Yeah.
Hey, where's the
Ferrari? The comparison is not too bad. It could be worse.
And Hugh, do you have these kind of pictures from all of us?
Yeah,
no,
yours.
I hope not. Come on.
I would like to see Kato.
No, actually, based on what I found on the internet about you, Laszlo. Based on what I found on the internet about you, Laszlo, I know why you seem to get into the pipe business.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to show anything to anybody because there could be kids watching.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Hugh, I have some pictures later on I can share with you.
Yeah,
from,
please.
From Laszlo. So.
What?
Hey, Carlton.
What?
Behave.
So Markus, I mean, last year we, you brought out the diff, or actually it was 2018. You introduced the newest diff.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, and then remember, it probably wasn't you. It was someone else in the company. And then you got the power fan, and you're always bringing out new items. Was there like anything that you had in the works for 2020 before the pandemic that we would have seen on tracks?
Well, we have always something in pipeline we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
The point is what SCS M2 is different to other companies is that we're not forced to bring out some new stuff. So and we always want to bring stuff on the market which really brings, let's say, our logo is called performance parts and and tools. And so we want to be sure that everything is working and is bringing the effect. So I know that other companies must live for it. So for us, it's more passion what we're gonna do, to bring it on the market. Yes, we're working all the time on it, but it for sure takes also longer because it's a side business for us, as you said. And I'm working mainly in motorsport, and then you have really time issues now. Besides now the time of Corona, we can do a little bit more, but at the end, yes, we're working on, and as soon as it's ready, for sure, everybody will get some information. The point is, it's quite difficult to talk about it. If you talk about something, then everybody's waiting for it, and then I don't know, is it coming in 3 months or 6 months or 1 year? And also, when we brought the Power Lock 2, which is actually on the way to be patented, the point is we brought it, let's say, in winter where nobody's buying the stuff. So it's not that we are really forced and focused to bring it in time that everybody is buying it. So yeah, it's for us really most important to have the tools or the parts working properly, and then we bring it.
So when you brought out the Power Lock 2, that I mean, you see other diffs, and there were some similar philosophies around adjusting on the outside, and just the way in which you're able to change ramp settings and everything. I mean, what was the philosophy behind the Power Lock 2 compared to, you know, the first Power Lock, which is a great diff, right? Like what were you doing to improve it? Like what were your goals when you came up with the Power Lock 2?
Well, the Power Lock 1 was introduced as one of the first diff in 2009 with this technology.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that we have that you know that we how should I say it? For sure, the technology was there. It was in DTM cars. It was in Formula 3 cars I'm working with, in rally cars. So it was a purely mechanical diff, but it was not in the market, in the RC car market. And our idea is also to bring real motorsport technology into the market. So at the end, it was for sure a copy in a way which was usable in RC car. And it was super successful. And now other manufacturers have copied the differential, or not copy, but the idea, the philosophy behind it. They for sure improved some little stuff or changed some, you know, had some ideas which they put in. And then for the Power Lock 2, we knew that we have to do something which was easy adjustable, because the main feedback on Power Lock 1 was that the guy said, I don't want to open it. I don't know how to change it. You know, I don't know if I do something wrong. So it must be 100% bulletproof, that they cannot do just the locking effect from outside. Here, and that was, you know, designed with the team. Flavio was really involved. Flavio Budelik was fully involved in this project. And so we worked on it. We tried to make it work. And then we saw there's a way of tent on it, because we just wanted somehow to have this standing that nobody's copying it. For sure, let's say the costs are for a patent far too high. You will never get it in. But it was just, you know, that's behind to make it easy for everybody. For sure, you still can open it, or you still need to open it and change something or check something. But at the end, it's so easy. Within 10 seconds, you can change the differential in the pit lane and go out again. Even if you say, I need to have a little bit more locking effect, let's try it in the next qualifying round. You know, if you go out with heated tires, you normally feel it directly. I feel when the car is shit in one lap or not. So you can come in, change it back and run, and you have not lost your quali run. So there was the ideas behind, make it easier for the customer. For sure, the system itself went more complex and more parts, and therefore also a little bit more expensive. And but yeah, at the end, this was the idea behind the Power Lock 2.
Hey, Hugh,
yes, sir.
Can I ask Markus a quick question on?
Oh, for sure.
Something short, because I've been intrigued. I've had two. I have two of them. I have one for my touring car and one for my F1. And I've seen some people use the carbon discs internally, and some people use the steel discs. Could you, Mark, explain? I've been told more or less what it is, but I would like to hear from the man himself. The difference between carbon disc and steel discs inside.
Yes, the point is that carbon change also a little bit of friction over temperature. Steel is more constant, and then you get a little, the size are the same, so it's 23, 25, 27 millimeters. You should try it once. What I still haven't done yet, but what I want to do, it always takes quite long. I want to make an exact dyno for the differential to get exactly the locking rates, you know, so that I can exactly tell you how much % you're going to change the locking rate when you change the configuration. This I haven't done. This is a long time in my head, but it's also the time which you have available, so I couldn't do it. So it's more about the testing. For sure, if you change the diameter, you get the more locking effect to it. And then it's kind of because many people talk about it's locking soft, or I don't like this word. So at the end, the locking ratio, the locking effect is always the same. But for sure you change somehow the locking ratio, or the locking percentage, and you should try it. The steel disc we figured out looks a little bit more. You don't have a big change between the beginning of the run and the end of the run. And as you know, we have made also differential heating heaters, where we had especially this issue to cover this issue with the carbon disc. When it's cold, I felt it really strong when we had indoor racing and there I felt a big difference if you start with a heated differential or non-heated differential. And this makes somehow a little bit, it's more homogeneous with the steel disc, I would say.
I guess the word, is it okay for me to say that with the steel discs, the locking is more progressive, whereas with the carbon discs, it's more harsh, the locking? Is that accurate?
Well, that's what I wanted to say. Is somehow you have a locking effect, a locking ratio, a locking percentage, a locking effect of the diff, and it should change normally depending on the material you're going to use. Also, if it's sliced or not sliced, which we have in the PowerLock 1. So at the end, I would, as I cannot give you the exact numbers at the moment, you should try it on track to see one by one. This is what we do in real racing as well. We go back-to-back testing. You test one, you go to the other, and you go back to the previous one. Because at that moment, it could be that the tires change, or the track surface and so on. So you need to have a back-to-back comparison, and then you know exactly what you need for your car.
Give me, for example, if you can give us an example. Let's say if you have a high traction track, would you recommend using the steel ones or the carbon discs? And
in which car are you gonna, in touring car or Formula car?
Let's say, touring car.
Touring. Because in Formula, I also personally, if I start with Formula, if I'm Formula, I go rather with less locking in the Formula car. Also, when the grip increase, because the tires have so much grip, and it really brings the engine also down, and it creates also push understeer, which you cannot compensate with the car balance and the steering. So I try actually to open the diff the higher the grip goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
About the touring?
Touring car at the moment, as I also miss a little bit of track time for myself. I do racing 3-4 times, but I would say I personally would go more to the steel version, as this might fit more tracks and more driving style than the carbon.
Thank you.
Markus, could I also ask a question with the diff? Hello?
Sure. Yeah, I hear you.
About the about the oil and the volume of the oil. Do you test different types of oil or volume of the oil in the diff, or is it the same always?
In PowerLock 1, we have tested quite some stuff with the amount and also different kind of oils. The oil which we actually sell is actually exactly the same oil which we're going to use in the DTM cars, in the gearbox. So I went to the gearbox department and grabbed some different oils. We had also in the past
so you take what you have.
Liquid stuff, and I now for sure I'm gonna buy it, but at that stage I tested different ones.
Could you share with us what's the oil weight, if you've got a secret, like the oil weight? Yeah, like for example, in America, USA, you can buy 75W140 or 75W90. That's the oil weight. You know what I mean?
Didn't get it to be, no, didn't get it.
Hold on. Let me show you.
meint die Qualität vom Öl wie 45 oder 37.
Got it.
You could get
Was da reinkippen kannst.
the oil weight.
Yes, got it.
The viscosity, of the oil.
Oh yeah, the viscosity. Yeah.
If
Let
you
me
can
double check.
make a recommendation.
I don't have it in my mind. The
Okay,
point is, we
right.
have tried. I can send you. I will send it by email. It's no problem. The point is, we have tested really different one, and whenever the driver come on track and say, "I have a problem with the diff," we smell it that it's if it's our or if it's a different one. So if they have tested the differential with different oil and they never came really to the proper effect of the diff. For sure, there are other oils which will work, but most of the problems came by using the wrong oil. And to give the answer to Kato is, yes, we have tested different quantity. So the recommendation in, I think, Powerlock 1 was like 20, 22, going down to maximum 15, but it doesn't change a lot. So changing the disc configuration changed more than the oil quantity
Than the oil
itself.
quantity. Okay. But it's important that it's
and
not
with the
too little.
2, yes, I would say the same. With the Powerlock 2, if most of the guys don't read, we made a super manual, which actually is also written there. We have drilled a hole, which actually you fill in from top, and then when it comes out from the oil draining area, that's the amount you need to fill. It should be also around 15 to 20 milliliters. Yeah, exactly. This is what Guido is showing. This is the oil. So you put it on top, and then when it comes out of the screw, then it's actually the right amount of oil in the diff.
Good. And Markus?
Kato?
Markus? When we'll go racing in rain again?
When I have proper tires. That's a story. I got the proper tires from Kato in Los Talo when we were driving there. I have to say, I've never driven such tires. They were incredible. So, but I killed them. So
almost as good as Marius used.
Yeah, but he didn't get the best ones, I have to admit.
I'm not surprised.
I tried to copy Kato, but it didn't work out yet.
Yeah?
It didn't work out.
It's impossible. Impossible to copy.
Take some time. Yeah. Take some time.
No, it's good that you guys brought up tires, but I guess the first question I have to ask you, Markus, is are you affiliated with one specific tire company? Before I think about asking you these questions, it might get you in trouble. Are you like?
No.
You're good. You're new. Because I mean, for personally, because I run Formula One, and until I can get to a race, which is usually late summer, and I'll have to fly somewhere, I practice in Canada, but the surface temperatures take a long time to get up because usually it doesn't get really hot till like July. And the one thing I noticed, when Luis, myself, we were in California in, was it March, Luis? In 2019?
Either March or December when we used to do
it was cold and it rained. And typically I use the PMT tires, and the softest compound is the F1. And it couldn't get it to grip. And Andreas Blum was there, and he was flying around the track, and he had the elegies on. And the one thing I noticed, and I just wanted to see if you noticed the same thing too. It seemed like with the elegies, the tolerance and grip levels for colder temperature was a lot better than the PMTs. But then at the higher temperature, the PMTs had a better tolerance from really extreme heat. And then somewhere in the middle, they're almost equal. Is that for elegy or GIP versus PMT? Is that something that you see as well with the tires? Knowing that your team, although you might not be racing, I know you have a bunch of guys that race for you that test your parts. What do you see a big difference in both tire manufacturers?
No, to be honest, I don't see a big difference, but for sure on different tracks, let's say for the main drivers like us, I would say,
Yes.
Not the top drivers. The top drivers are also, they are linked to a manufacturer, so they have to drive it. So this I actually like to keep to not be linked to one of them, because I don't tell you which tires I drove or which combination I drove for the F1 German Championship, which I won. But it was incredible to drive. I tell you, I've never driven a car like this. But I mixed the tires. I had different ones front and the different manufacturer at the rear. So
interesting.
It's for me, it's also car dependent a bit. This is what my team figured out. So maybe for the Genius car, Maximilian Honig was driving also Genius, and he was GLP driver, or still GLP tire, and he had issues to get steering to the car, which BR didn't have because he ran PMT. So when he changed now to Megatech, he didn't have this problem anymore. So it's also a bit car related. So car related, track related. So as long as you're free with the tires, I would recommend to have both in the pocket. The point for me is a general issue or global situation. The tires are so expensive that at the moment to have all these mixtures, soft, hard, medium, and so on in the pocket, this costs a lot of money. And what we try to achieve with the race car series, we have introduced the race car series. I don't know if someone of you follows it up, but there we try to limit the tires. You can either run GLP this configuration or this mixture or PMT, and then you only need to have two of it, and you go to the racetrack and you try which one is better, and you go ahead with it. So the point, even for me, I tell you now a secret, for the F1 German Championship, it's actually impossible. But I bought tires like for 2,000 euros only to have all combinations ready, and at the end I used only 20% of it. You know what I mean? So for me, it was important. I wanted now to finally win a race, and then I said, fuck it, I'm gonna spend the money. It was Flavio, it was me, it was some other guys racing. But I took the money. It was even more than 2,000 euros. I took the money just to have the tires there, and this cannot be. This will destroy, I think, our hobby, and we have to limit somehow, in my opinion, the tires.
I agree.
It's in all racing categories. Look on the big racing, they have all the same tires, and then go for it.
Control tires, yeah. And I don't know, but I mean, I don't have the experience of doing like 8 to 10 races a year, but I found that anytime I've come over to visit you guys or race with you guys or race south of the border, at the end of the day, maybe it's just for Formula One, you only end up using 2 compounds all weekend, like what's on the front, what's on the back.
That's what then at the end it fits. I tell you, when we went one test day before the German Championship to the track, like 2 weeks before, and tested. Whatever you change on the, I have to say, fucking setup, it didn't change a lot, but we changed just tires, and it make huge difference. You know what I mean? So all the secret is in the tire. If you have the right mixture on the car or not. For sure, the setup you need to fine tune, to adjust, to have the drivability of the car. But the huge difference, and to see how the car behaves after 10 or 20 laps when the tire is hot, it makes a difference. My car was from nailed on the ground to undrivable, by just changing the tires. So,
and Markus, isn't that the case in all racing? That the 4 most important things are the 4 tires, and then you can work from that.
Exactly.
But if you don't have the tires that connect to the tarmac, then you're just fucked anyway.
I totally agree, Kato. But the point is, do we want to race? Do we want to fight with tires, or do we want to fight each other, or drive against each other and see who is
should be.
Should you have an advantage because you have the better tire, or should you have the advantage because you're the better driver
or the better strategist?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so
it should be because, or else it will kill our hobby, because it's
look at
with all these compounds, and you have to go to a race with so many boxes, and in the end, as you say, guys, that you use just when the grip is high on Sunday, you use just 2 compounds maximum, and the rest goes into garbage or whatever.
Exactly, and look how the top driver. I mean, your son is also a top driver, but when you get the tires from the manufacturer, what they're gonna do? They put every time a new set on the car. You know what I mean? So they have to, because they have to be quick. So for me, it's definitely the wrong way. Look, and on all categories, even the Formula E tires. If you with a Formula E tire, you cannot run 5 laps flat out. It will cook. It will get undrivable. So it's somehow also to manage it. So if you have 1 mixture or 2 mixture, that's fine. Limit it. Otherwise, you need to go with 10 boxes to the racetrack and figure first out which one. And so, also, maybe you have a tire which works in your track, but it doesn't work on the other track. So this would mean this also maybe stops some guys going to another track, because when he said, I go to this track, I don't know which tires I need to use. Maybe I need to buy some others. So if it's somehow limited, I guess this is the way to go, and it must be to secure our hobby.
So, I mean, with that in mind, what would be if you were in front of IFRA or in front of IFMAR, what would be your recommendation to control that madness with tire money and overspending?
I would limit the tires. I would make a deal with tire manufacturer. I know it's not perfect it's not the way. You should go to the manufacturers and they should make an offer what they can make on tire for a special price, and I would limit the tire for at least 1 year to this compound and this company.
Yeah.
Or you make of each the problem is we have now 2 big tire manufacturers, the GLP and PMT, or you need to find a way of having 1 or 2 compounds maximum per manufacturer. So having from 20 different versions, maximum maybe 2 or 3 available per brand, and that's the maximum you can use, at least to reduce it a bit. Otherwise, one company will be out of the business, and this is also not, let's say, should not be in the sense.
And of course, this would be also much better for the tire manufacturers, because now they have to give away so many tires that it's hard to get it back in profit on the other drivers who has to pay for that. So definitely it has to be limited. Definitely it has to be limited and marked and controlled, and otherwise it's what you already said. That it's impossible to race to each other.
Laszlo, didn't we do that in France? There were some marked tires that we get it from the.
Yes, at that time it was, but then they changed. They lobbied for that, especially the factory drivers, because for them everything is for free, so it's not a big problem how many tires to use. But in my opinion, to keep this hobby on a lower budget, this is a must to do this, and we have to lobby at EFRA. I don't know if they understand this, but okay, let's hope we can convince them. But for example, as Markus says, with his series, it's impossible to do it otherwise. So they have to limit the tires. It's very easy to do. We are also working on a system. So I hope next time I can tell you how to identify a tire very easily. So it's not just a piece of paint or something or a color. So it's very easy to control, because this is always the problem that, okay, the technical inspection has to check this and this and this. And also now they have to check the tires, but it will be much easier than to check anything else. So this we have to really implement, because otherwise it will get loose, and the budget has to be kept. Otherwise, less and less drivers will come.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean,
we need all the drivers that we have. This is not a huge sport, so we have nobody to lose.
Yeah.
So
we don't have really people at the end coming to the sport itself.
No,
they
not growing
go away,
anymore.
or they do some hobby at the club at home, and that's it.
So my question to you, Markus, I had some more thoughts about tires, but being mindful of time, and I know it's like it's after 9 for you guys, many of you guys, but if you were knowing, I mean, I had the pleasure of hanging out with you at the New York E-Prix, and the one thing I thought that was really cool that Formula One's starting to figure it out, but the RC space has no clue right now, is how do you appeal to an incoming generation? Like, yeah, there's a Sindra here, and there's a Marius there, and then there's Tony's son from Spain, but really there's really no legions of kids coming in. You know, knowing what you experienced from Formula E and how they're kind of appealing to that gaming crowd to get them to show up at the venue. Like, you know, for one, I mean, we're talking about how we keep us from leaving and becoming frustrated cost, but how do you bring in a new gen? Like, what would you recommend to bring in a younger generation into the sport?
I think this I cannot give you a real answer, because it's real tough. Even, I mean, I have a son as well, and to be honest, as we said, the costs are so expensive for our sport. There, you need to decide. You can go karting with your son, you know, for this budget. And then what we just discussed is the tires. So bring it down. I mean, for sure, the technology is there. It's nice to drive, but it's really, I think, hard to bring new guys into the scene. It's guys, us who likes, enjoys it. They rather run maybe 110, 1.8, which is maybe a bit cheaper also for tires. It's maybe not a lot, but it's already something. And on fifth scale is quite hard, I would say.
And see, that's one of the reasons why we came up with the Sportline Spec FG for a spec class, because you can get everything you need within about $1,500. You get a car, you get a set of tires, it's ready to go, and at least you get a taste of it. So if you eventually want to graduate to a Genius or RS5 or a Megatech, this way, if the guy wants to stay in, then it's just nothing more than he can sell his car to somebody else who wants to get in, and then use that money to get another car. And that's why we started the spec class. And we've already got a few guys that started out with spec, and now we've actually had a couple of guys buy cars from a few European guys getting out. So now they're graduating up to what we call the STC, the Super Touring car.
Nice.
I totally agree that a ready-to-race car is necessary to come. When I look back, when I started RC car in big scale, I actually saw it somewhere and said, oh, where should I drive? So actually I bought an off-road car, which I could use wherever I want, off-road, on-road. And then I saw this on-road, and then I went to the on-roads racing itself. But I agree that having such a ready-to-run package is the way to go. And also this is what we try with our race car series. It should be a standard class with no extra cost for tuning engine, you know, no 1,000 euros, it should be 200 euros. Also limitation of tires, and limitation of pipes, to say it should be a steel pipe to have also a little bit less cost. And this is what we try to force and at least bring all the hobby drivers back on track. And we have now almost 120 drivers signed in. So
that's awesome.
I think the way to go.
That's good.
That's incredible.
But also, if I could, I'm really old compared to you guys, but
no, you're not.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, it started as a hobby that was about cars, but it ended up as a hobby about friends and to spend time with your friends. And that's also what we have to show our kids, that it's not just about winning and expensive cars and everything. It's about building a good place to be and build friendships, and because in the end everybody cannot win, everybody cannot be on the first place anyway. So but you should still have fun, you should still meet your friends, you should still, and that's our benefit compared to the computer that they normally want to stay behind. And this is as at least for me, this has been the most important thing on the whole RC hobby is the people in it. It's not about the cars are also nice, of course, but it's about the people, really.
I agree,
That's
Kato.
what we also need to show our kids.
That's also the reason why I have so much fun to the RC car racing. It's you all know I'm not the fastest driver. I'm driving my awesome buddies and make worldwide friendships, and that's for me more than the win of the racing.
I agree. Like I got to tell you that the best thing that ever happened to me personally was I had a club I used to run in Toronto, and we used to have a lot of guys. These like 25, 30 guys come out. And then it took a turn and it got ugly because we started getting these rev up magazines from the UK. So we would see all the bits in there, the latest parts, all the cars, and then everybody started forming these factions.
The rev up magazine, huh?
Yeah, I got stacks of them. The next time I come over, I'm gonna bring them with me. And you'd have a Harm team, and then you had an FG team, and you had a RS5 team, and you had a Techno Kit team, and then they all just started doing this. And I used to run the races, and I remember Saturday night before the races, I would get a stomach ache because I knew, or actually the Friday when I finished my full-time job, I would get a stomach ache because I didn't know what was going to happen on Sunday, and I had to organize everything. I didn't know people would show up, and it was not fun, and I didn't get to race. And then they all fought each other, and I was like, okay, that's it, I quit. And then the whole thing fell flat. But then while that happened, social media started to pop up, and fan pages started showing up on Facebook. And I saw the your SCS M2, you had a fan page, and you posted a photo album of the Model Tech race in Fiorano. And it was 67 pictures, because I used to look at every picture fanatically. And the one thing that was the common occurrence, besides looking at everybody's cars, was everybody was smiling. And I remember seeing Chris Flakowski hanging out with Giovanni Verbruga, and although they're from opposing teams, they're all having fun together. And then you felt like, I want to experience that. And then I remember Kuni Ujima, who used to live with us in Toronto, he moved back to Japan, and he kept saying, come over to Japan, come race with me, come over, bring your car. And I was like, it's too expensive. And then I checked the flights one day, and it was like $1,200 to go to Narita. So I went over, and it changed my life. And then I said, and then I was playing Fiorano on virtual racing. So I said, I want to go over for real after I saw your photo album. But the one thing that, that Kato called out was the fraternity. And that's what drew me to it. And once you get in, it's like a drug. Like, you can't shake it. And then you just have to keep going back. Like, I mean, Luis, you got a taste when you went to Portugal, right? Like, it was just, it's just like, it's an adrenaline rush. It's like an odyssey. Like, and then you meet people from all over the world. Like, I went up to the Blue Wine Cup at Hockenheim, and that was an incredible experience. But I think if there's a way we can market that, you can get a lot more people in, because I know for the other of us that have watched you guys from a distance, it drew us to you. Like, it's like, we have to go there. Like, we have to get a taste, because everybody in the albums looks like they're having a whale of a time. And you see at these IFA races, people from Portugal hanging out with people from Croatia. I know, maybe the Italians may just hang out on their own. But everybody, but I think that's great. Like, I think that's incredible. Like,
this is the biggest value of our hobby, because it's still not 110, and it's still not. There's a lot of these racing scenes that it's very serious, and it's not so easy anymore to be on a friendship term with everybody. But we still have that in large scale racing, in my opinion.
See, but like what we do here in Texas is that we actually work as a collective. So when we make rule changes, it's the whole entire Texas 5 group. We don't, one or two guys. We actually work together as a collective. Like, I'm a Star Trek geek, so we work like the board. We work as a collective. And sometimes we'll actually try different things. Like, I'm about to show you a first place trophy. This is what we did for a first place trophy. As you can see,
only in America. Only in America.
Rocky Balboa.
Literally, it's a wrestling type belt. I found a company in Connecticut, and we try to do different things. We try to have fun. Like, we would have a race, and if I see a guy struggling, I would sacrifice running qualifiers to make sure that guy gets his car ready, gets his bugs worked out, gets whatever fixed, and get on the track. Because if he's not happy, he's not going to come back. So there are times when we would sacrifice. Like one time, I had to be the race director for our club race because the guy didn't show up. So I didn't race any, but in between times, I helped the new guys work on their cars, get their cars set up, and for them to run. So now it's like crack. They're now hooked. I gotta have some more. I gotta have some more. So that's what we do here in Texas, and it's all about having fun. You know, whether I finish first or whether I finish last, so long as I have a chance to come back and race with you guys and help you guys out. That's our goal, and that's why we're starting to get more and more guys in the Texas scene into fifth scale, because they're like, wow, man, look at these guys. I mean, we work together, we race together. There's no animosity. You know, we have the fun smack talking on the driver's stand, but it's not serious. It's not like, hey man, it's almost like the real wrestling thing. Like, we talk smack at each other, like Hulk Hogan and what's his name back in the day. But we're not serious. But it's all about having fun, and that's what we stress.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Speaking of fun, I think. And hold on, I just learned something. I shouldn't be calling you Guido. It's just Guido, right? Guido. I think you have something you want to show us.
Please.
You have something you want to show us.
Yeah, Aston Martin.
I have something I want to show.
Show it to me.
Come on, man. Let's see it.
What would you like to see?
The green Mercedes.
Come on.
New Mercedes.
The green Mercedes.
I can show you the front.
And you
Mercedes.
should also ask Carlton, because I think he's almost ready to start his engine.
Yeah, I know. Ooh.
Yes, this one.
Wow. Beautiful.
But this is.
And that's the body that, Marcus, you have in your series, right? That's one of the bodies, the spec bodies for the series. That's awesome.
Yeah, correct. We only have GT bodies allowed in the GT series.
Beautiful body.
And when will that be ready? Next week, Guido?
I hope.
Oh, nice. You got a little bit of time. Hey, Marcus, you're in your shop right now?
Me? No, I'm at home.
No, but I mean, what's behind you there? Is there anything like worth seeing? Any fancy bits?
Don't say kitchen.
Oh, you're in the kitchen? The kitchen / shop?
I'm in my office, so I don't have anything to show.
Oh man, it's supposed to be showing. Well, no, this is really good. No, this is good. Sorry, someone had a question.
Yeah, I just want to ask Marcus if this Corona thing put you out of work, or are you able to do anything, or?
Well, in racing, yes, we are not really working, so we call it in Germany Kurzarbeit. I work some days a week, 1 or 2 maximum, and because they have postponed or canceled all the races. So at the moment,
the whole year already?
No, they want to do some races. They said it should be 3 doubleheader between July and September. They want to do. So at the end, we need to see how it goes, and when we know the time schedule, I think we go back to normal work.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have time for SCS to do some stuff.
Nice.
Keep the time for your children.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, Guido. This we do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Formula 1 starts in Austria in July. Is it right?
Yeah, I heard also that, but it's not completely decided yet, I think. But
no. It's just a plan.
It's a plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Wishful thinking, but yeah.
I think they'll do it.
I think also they will do it.
Yeah.
We started in September in Losalo, Laszlo.
In September 2021.
Hopefully.
I don't. Yeah, I hope we will be able. But
I hope we
I'm
go to
pessimistic.
October. I think
I'm
if
pessimistic.
it's
The,
if anything, it has to be in Ferrano in October. I think
Yeah.
that's
the Model Tech
that would be
race.
already nice. Otherwise,
that
just start with the Utrecht next year.
Luis, yeah, I know you've been to the Worlds, so but Fiorano's
I
it's
know.
crazy. It's
That's my next one.
yeah, and
you didn't think it would happen this year in October? You think he'll make it, or maybe?
I'm supposed to go to a wedding in October, but you know
that you're already married. You
oh,
cannot
my
marry
cousin.
twice anyway.
No, you can marry as many times as you want, but it just
Hey,
going to cost you money.
You, as long as the wedding is in Italy, you're okay.
It's not. It's
Shall we ask Carlton what is he doing, because he has a car?
Yeah, he's
in his
working.
hand.
Hey, Carlton, what are you up to, man?
No, I don't have a car in my hand because
Oh
I'm
no,
on a
Carlton.
cabin.
No,
No,
Carlton.
and
you doing?
And what makes it worse is that he's working on a nitro instead
What
of
are you
on a
working on,
fifth-scale
Carlton? What are you working on?
Me?
I'm
No, Carlton in the States.
Oh.
I'm working and helping some guys out. I had to fix somebody's car.
And it doesn't start,
Ew,
or what?
that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. We should
Oh,
just cut you off. You bring in an 8-scale car into a 5th-scale call?
You want to see something uglier?
Yeah. Ooh. Ugh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ooh, the horror. Mm.
Wait. I have to say something.
Oh, that's it.
He was going to say, when he started this hobby, the best thing that ever happened to him, I just knew he was going to say meeting me.
No, actually,
no, he
actually,
had to go
it's 2 things.
hard.
It's 2 things. It's meeting and beating you.
Hey, I think I've beaten you more times than you've beaten me.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Louis, how are you, my man? How you doing?
Good.
I have to say something. I am right now racing 5th scale thanks to that guy with a white shirt and a hat, Carlton Coleman. I had a Tamiya 110 scale. This is back in the day, and I go to the track in Maryland that we had back there, and I was having fun, and I see this guy himself with an F1 painted as the Renault blue and yellow and a sedan. And I go to him and I say, the first thing I say, what the hell is that? And he says, this is 5th scale. And you run on nitro? No, you run on gas. That was the last day I had either an 8th scale, 1/10. From that point on, I married to 5th scale cars. So thank you, Carlton.
Only in America. You're more than welcome.
Carlton's like the godfather of 5th-scale in the United States.
You pumped up your car, so it's double.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this is a good way to end it. Let's ask each of you, what was your first 5th-scale car? What was your first 5th-scale car, Luis?
All right, my first, since meeting Carlton back in, 2000 and something, I did what most people did, which you find a used one. So I think a friend of him had an Evo 2, FG Evo 2.
Yeah.
And listen to this. The guy had it in storage, and he had a red Ferrari 360 Modena body, which is the body I sold to Juan.
Yes, I still do.
Car.
Wow.
An FG
Nice.
Evo 2.
Evo 2. Hey, Guido, what about you? What was your first 5th-scale car?
Oh, I'm driving Aussie car since 30 years, but only in the last 4 years it's a large scale car. Before it was 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Please.
What was your first large
one
car? He's frozen. His Wi-Fi. Oh,
my first large scale car was one damper at the suspension in the front.
Yeah.
And I drive it nearly an hour.
Oh, really?
And it makes me so much fun. And Carsten Wolf, you know Carsten Wolf?
Yeah, big Carsten. Yeah, big man. Giant.
He says that is the right car is the Evo the FG Evo, and after 1 hour driving time with the old, bought an Evo 8, and was started in 2016 at the Glühwein Cup in Hockenheim. And after that, I switched to an Mikatech. And it was 2018 in Fiorano when we have the first talks with Norbert Forster and Genius for the E Formula. It was 2018.
Oh, nice. So yeah,
I think
FG,
yes.
the first
And
FG.
we get, and then we get to the Genius, to the F1, and since last year I drive the Harm F1, and this year the touring car 2.
Nice.
Markus, can you explain something about the development of your e-car?
At the end, I was talking to you some days ago. At the moment, there's nothing started, but for me, I actually plan to make a Formula E body, and I want to have this electrified. I know from Norbert that he had issues with the engine or the controller itself, which is dying due to temperature reason, especially in the Formula car. So now we try to figure out what components we can use to really make it last. For me, the main topic is actually the Formula E body. I'm already in contact with Spark, the manufacturer of the body. They already gave me the CAD data, and I'm now thinking of to make the current one or still the new one, which should actually come next year, but they postponed due to the coronavirus. So I think I need to see what kind of body. The body is prior one, and then I want to see what kind of technology we can use. It's also the same what we have discussed. It's all about at the end costs and money. It should not be too expensive, but it should for sure last. And I think we have decided some wrong reglement stuff to bring in the electro into our category. We should actually reduce the running time so that the reduce in running time for the electro cars will help us to bring more electro cars into the scene.
But the body is very interested for me, of course. Outside, you see the new Tamiya TC01 body in 1 to 10 scale. It's a wonderful car and will be coming at the market in the next few weeks.
Tamiya TC,
it's an FCO1. It's basically a four-wheel drive and updated version of the old F201 that they had out many years ago, but it's got the Formula E body on it.
Wow, nice.
I know what he's talking about.
It's a very nice car.
Yes.
So what scale is it?
10 scale.
1 to 10.
Yeah. I do have. I mean, I do have already a picture of it, but it's not yet finished.
Nice. Hey, Sebastian, how are you? Welcome, man. You're on mute.
You muted.
Yes. Now it's better, huh? You can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
where are you? You at work or something?
Yeah, no, I have had a call of somebody with driving to be with me together, and yes, we need some time because it's the first time after 1 year, and we have to talk about some things. So it was just a bit longer. Excuse me, guys.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You just made it. Just as we're winding up, we're actually asking each other what the first RC car, their first large scale car was, and then just talking about the electric side of the racing in the future. But yeah, Markus, what was your first large scale car?
My large scale car, first one was an FG off-road. I think it was this. It was not this Marder. It was this Beetle. Like
Yeah.
And I actually I just tried to look for the picture, but I don't think I have it digital on my computer.
Hold
but
on,
I have
hold
it
on.
printed,
I'll be right back. You keep talking. Keep talking.
with an
Markus,
FG.
I sent you a picture on the chat.
See, yeah, I told you. I told you
I haven't
he's
seen that in
preparing something from the museum.
Yeah. Man, I got this one.
Yes, exactly. This one. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That
then Guido, you're a harm guy.
Oh,
This is a
Okay.
harm magazine from 2002.
yeah. This was the starting time of my hobby.
Yeah.
These are the first catalogs what I have seen ever of
Yeah,
FG
yeah.
and
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, for my story, so I was
this is the Bible.
Yeah, so it was around 1998.
I also have those.
Yeah, and there's this hobby shop in Toronto where I go to get my 1/10 scale parts. I had a Yokomo touring car, and I hated it, and I just I sucked at it. And I remember pulling up, and there was this car in the window. It's like going to the pet shop, and you see this puppy in the window. You're like, and it was a FG mid chassis Opel Calibra. Calibra. And and I didn't have any money. So every 2 weeks I'd go to the hobby shop and I'd give the owner $150 and $200 and
your dealer. You mean your
yeah,
dealer.
and I give him installments, and then finally I paid for it. It was like $1,200, and so then while I was paying, it must have took me about 2 months to pay him. I bought this magazine, and I would look at it every night, and I would see the factory. I see Franz's factory, with the tour and all the pictures, and Flavio's in there, and yeah, here's Flavio right here working on the computer. This is like when he was a baby, right? And then I finally bought the car, and it had these horrible FG slick tires on them. So they had a summer series, and I joined the race, and it had the old Zenoa, the G20 engine, which overheated. So everybody's like, don't get that. Go to the better engine is a Solo tuning. So I got the Solo. The Solo was bad too, and it was by the time I paid for the car, it was like July. So I joined at the hottest race of the summer. And I remember I was in 4th place, and I was driving the shit out of the car. I was on fire. I'm like, woo! And then all of a sudden, the car started getting really funny. And then I pulled the car in, and both right tires were completely off the rim, they melted. And then the Solo engine overheated, and then it was the Opel Calibra with the monoshock. So it had the monoshock in the front. So then when I'm looking at the magazine, the hobby shop goes, you got to get the Performance Evo parts. So I spent about $1,000 on the Calibra, and then I spent another $1,500 on upgrade parts. And then after a while, I realized that mid-chassis card, it wasn't as stable as the 535 length. And now, that was my start, 22 years ago. It was this Opel car. It was a beautiful car. That body was beautiful. So that was my story. I know, Lazo, what was your first one? What was your first fifth skill car?
Yeah, I just told the others when you were away that I got my first FG in 1993 from France. And we organized also, I think, in Germany, but in Holland, definitely the first national championship large scale was in 1994. And I won the first race. I was quite lucky because I had the latest tires from France. And that was my first car with the Mercedes body shell. Beautiful car at that time. And I also raced before the 1/8 scale cars. And this was a huge difference, and I really like that because it was much more realistic than any other thing. And I still think that this is the best category in our hobby. So that's why I still stay with that.
You're a truck champion too, right? You drove truck cars to a national championship.
Yes, I won the truck championship in Holland in 2002. And also I drove before that touring cars. But exactly what we have spoken about before, the biggest problem was that if you wanted to win a race in 1994 or 1995 in Holland, you needed 3 suitcases of different tires. And I did not do that, because that I thought this is not the right way to go. And there some guys were there with this filling up a small truck with tires, and I did not want to do that. And I also had other things to do in my job, so this was just a hobby at that time. And that was very important. Without that, you could not win any more serious races. So that was the thing. So we have to think on that definitely for the future.
Nothing have changed.
Nothing have changed. No.
No, I know. That's something else. Hey, Andre, what was your first large scale car?
My first it was a FG with a monoshock too, and with a solo engine. And the body was Ford Capri Zack Speed.
The
Group 5.
Oh, which? Oh, the Mercedes or the you said the Zack
Ford Capri.
Oh, the Capri, you had a Capri body. Oh,
yes, with the preparation Zack Speed.
Oh, beautiful! That's a beautiful body. That's cool. And yeah, Juan, what about you, man?
Actually, that magazine that you had from FG, I actually still have that somewhere in the back of my closet,
my God.
Which I looked at for about a dozen. But my very first one was actually that FG Sport line that I got with the red Mercedes body. That was when I was finally able to afford one, and that was also the car that gave me the idea for the spec class. And since then, I'm actually sitting amongst 8 cars right now from various manufacturers.
You got a stable,
Harm and several FGs, including an F1.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, Kato? What about you?
Yeah, you know me. I've been a Formula One fan all my life, so I could not resist when I saw this. I think it was a Sportline version FG, the first one that came. A lot of plastic on it, also solo engine. It was amazing to get in my hands this huge car, and I still think the FG body from that time still looking quite good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice car. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
And of course, it could not be a McLaren because had to be red, of course, because
Ferrari. I get it.
Always been Ferrari.
Hey, what about you, Sebastian? What was your first car? Your first large scale car?
Well, the first big scale was FG competition 2002 with an Opel Astra body from the DTM.
Oh yeah.
What you can see on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You posted it. That's Michael Milka designed that body, didn't he? Was he the one that did the first shell like years ago?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. I've been in this.
I know the design just from the FG catalog. I have seen it, the body, and then I go to the next dealer and was asking, I want to have this body, and then he told me it makes no sense to take a sports line or an eco line or something like that. I have a competition car here. Look, you can get it for a good price if you want.
Oh, nice.
And then I was looking for that. There was some alloy inside, and he told me, okay, you get the new engine, not the old one, the Noah G230 in the car. I will modify it, and then it was my first car.
Nice. Hey, Carlton, you're the last one. I don't think Miguel's on the line anymore. I think he left.
Okay, sure.
What was your first large scale car?
My first large scale car was FG.
Yeah.
It was the one in the Evo, I guess it was 2004, something like that. And then I upgraded to and of course S5. So all my cars are old. I have nothing to. I'm an old man, so.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
But,
I forgot. I think it was Rio thought that he was. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Leonardo. How old is the oldest person here?
Who's the oldest person here?
Yep.
No, Laszlo, you are a little bit older than me.
Sorry.
Maybe you are 2 years older than me.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
How old is old?
How old is old? 25.
plus 50.
I wish. Yeah, 65.
But I have a point in this.
I thought so.
Average age, we should also remember what we talked about with Markus a few minutes ago. How to bring in new guys into this.
I just wanted to tell. Yeah.
And I think a lot of us came into this sport because we thought it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So we should never forget that we should not only make bodies or make a car look like, for instance, the Alpha is used at all times. It's like 30 years old. Maybe we should, like Markus, make bodies that attracts the kids to this as well, because in the first place you get attracted to the car, and we have to remember not. If we want to attract kids that is 10, 15 years old, maybe we should have cars that are not 30 years old, because it doesn't really help.
Yeah, okay, but we don't want to do Beatles from Walt Disney, of course. But for example, Markus, what you should do is to convince not your drivers, but the competitor team's drivers, because it's so expensive sport, just change from Formula E to RC cars. It's much cheaper. They will have a hell of a good time. And also what we have to do is to organize parties regularly, and we have to keep the mood high, and we have to offer all these guys, or show them that they life up their times if they join us.
Exactly.
This is something,
we
and
have
also,
to go
of course,
with the time. We have to go with the time. Also changing it.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, we have to keep the budget low. That's the most important thing, because you can have the same fun if you do a lap 0.3 of a second slower. You can have the same fun. You have racing, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's showing the Formula E.
Oh, okay. So this is what we have to. I think this is what we have to do. Just keep the mood high and the budget, and try to show them. And that's the reason why I started this pullstart.tv, also to make and to be visible for a lot of people who are not there, and hopefully this will work on the long run. So that's what I think.
No, it's a good.
And not use very, very strict rules, because that will kill the whole thing.
So here's this is the
Markus. Markus, you need to work on your color scheme, because this doesn't look so good.
That's a cut data of the
but
of the
this is
Formula E
what
car.
I know.
This is what Kato wanted for the young guys. This is for 10 years old. It's a toy.
Kaleidoscope.
So Guido, to answer your question, this is already
that looks great.
The idea, if you see my screen,
yes,
it's already there. The point is that the size of the Formula cars are not 100% fitting the size, so we have a different width to the reality, which you send me. But so it's a little bit wider, but it should work as well.
Looks good.
You will need different wheels as well.
Yes, we are
much more narrow
to see it. If this works, but the point is, at the end, I need to have at least the rubber. The rim should not be an issue, but the rubber should be there.
Yeah.
But it
looks
cool.
Looks great. Looks great.
Nice.
Really good. Nice way to end it off, because I know some of you guys got to get ready for bed and beauty sleep. And then I know Luis is gonna go do like 100 push-ups and do his 5-mile run in the Florida heat. But no, Marcus, it's really great. It's really great for you to join us, and you know, it was good for all of us to be here. And I know, you know, Luis and I were talking earlier, and also Laszlo, that after the last call, I actually started looking at my car again because I had put it away for so long because it's quarantine. But then after talking to you guys and sharing it, it's like, okay, I'm getting the fever again. So it's nice. It's good to see it, and good to see everybody's in good health. And Sebastian, I didn't know if you're gonna make it. I was gonna wear my Lewis Hamilton hat for you. So look at his face. He's like,
you guys are not. Is any of you guys? Nobody is allowed to arrange races anymore?
Not yet.
We will start up in June.
Well,
in Norway.
3 weeks ago, or 2-3 weeks ago, the Undheims were on the call, and they were going out to practice.
Yeah, so we do practice every Saturday.
God. Oh.
Actually, here in Texas, we're actually going to have our big race May 22nd through 24th.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm personally a little skeptical, but the guys running the track said we're going to go ahead and do our big race Memorial Day weekend, and so it's a 50-50 proposition.
It's about keeping distance, and
and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I think Germany's opening up too, right? Like you guys are starting to open up as well. Maybe
Germany's opening a little bit. We got less lockdown since tomorrow on Monday, but I don't think that the racetracks are on the list to get less lockdown.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh no, I saw the DMC posting about the races in Germany. So I guess you guys still have to wait a little bit. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, yeah. Maybe Luis and I may have to go up to Texas.
Yes.
And take all your trophies, Juan.
So,
Hugh, what is wrong with Norway?
I'm taking this one, brother.
I'll come to Norway. I'll come there too. I'd love to go to Norway.
No.
Than Texas.
With you, I think Luis and I and you need to go to Texas and crucify the Texas 5 with the fantastic crew.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, Juan, let's show that. Hey, put up that belt. Juan. Let's see that belt again.
Yeah, put that up.
Oh, it feels good right there, buddy. Right there.
Right up.
Right there.
Get another one.
Gonna take this one, brother.
Yeah. And on that note, well, hey guys, we'll keep you posted for the next one. This was good, man. Marcus, thanks so much for making it. That was awesome, man. Thanks, Marcus, for sharing all that incredible.
That was cool. Thank you to meet you all, guys.
Yeah.
I'm also very happy to see you there, and also a big thank you for Hugh to organize all of this. But you will see on the next episode of pullstart.tv Offseason Stories.
Yeah, and
so
also
come back next time.
And don't forget to go on the SES shop and get your glasses. It'll improve your lap times by a second a lap.
You and Luis will get 10% discount.
Yeah. All right,
See you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.